We understand that starting seeds and knowing which equipment to use, making sure that you're starting in the right size, can all be pretty frustrating and kind of confusing at first. So we're here today to help you figure that out. My name's Carrie with customer service, and every day I spend time on the phone with people learning how to start their very first seed. Hopefully by the end of this video, you'll feel more confident in which equipment to use and the steps to take to starting your first seed in your garden. In this video, we're going to talk about the different cell trays, pots, humidity domes, and bottom watering trays. We'll also talk about your different seed starting mixes, how people fill up their pots and do their initial watering. We'll tell you how to sanitize your trays, how to use your humidity domes, and which size equipment to start with. The number one question I get on the phones is what to start with. And it really kind of starts with depending on how many plants you want to do. If you're going to be doing 200 tomato plants, you want to start with 200 cell tray. If you don't want to do a ton of plants, you want to start with smaller, a little bit more variety, you could start with the 6 cell inserts. This way you could have 6 plants of tomatoes, 6 eggplants, 6 cucumbers, whatever. You're not committed to a whole tray worth of plants, and this can help you keep that organized a little better. And when you use smaller sets with the 6 cell, you can also color coordinate. You can have your tomatoes in your green, eggplants in purple, peppers in blue, or however you want to organize to use those colors. Once you decide how many plants you're going to start, you've decided your pots or your cell trays, then you need your bottom watering tray. We've got our deep trays and we've got our shallow trays. Now let's talk about the difference between the no holes, holes, and mesh. Our air prune trays and cell trays and pots all have holes in the bottom for drainage. So you can take those, put them into a tray with no holes, and that'll catch your water. Our mesh trays have a lot of holes in them, so they're really good for microgreens that need a lot of drainage. And a lot of people also like to use these for soil blocking. You can put your soil blocks on top of here and then put those into a no-hole tray. For microgreen growers, the with-hole trays fit perfectly into the no-hole trays. This is the same bottom watering you can do with our cell trays, pots, and inserts. If you want to start a lot of seeds now, so for example, tomatoes, if you want to start a lot of tomato plants here, you can start it in the 200 cell, and then you continue to up pot to your 6 cells, up to the 2.5-inch pots. The longer you give them to kind of up pot, it's going to grow that root system better so that by the time it's after your first frost, they're ready to go out to the garden. You've got a 2-foot tomato plant ready to go. And if you want to learn more about up potting, we have a link below for a video about that. Next up, we're going to talk about prepping your equipment for your seed starting. These plastic concrete mixing tubs that you can find at a local hardware store are great for using to clean your trays if you don't have a big sink to clean in. They also come in handy when you're mixing your soil. You can mix it all right in there. A popular sanitizer for cleaning trays is hydrogen peroxide. This is about a 30 to 35% mix that you can dilute down to save a little bit of money on that. You can also use just a mild detergent to clean, and if you're only cleaning a few trays, remember BootstrapFarmer trays are dishwasher safe on the top rack. Once your trays are clean, and to prevent dampening off and pathogens contamination, let them air dry out on a countertop. Cleaning your trays each season helps to prevent pathogen buildup and dampening off. Next, let's talk about your seed starting mix. There's a lot of different mixes out there, but what you're looking for is something with a good mix of perlite, vermiculite. If you don't want to use peat moss, you can substitute for cocoa coir. That helps keep the seeds moist without getting oversaturated. Too wet and you risk fungal issues. Too dry and germination will suffer. Fill each cell to within 1/4 inch of the top. Don't compress the mix. We want to maintain proper aeration. Tap the tray firmly on your work surface 3 times to settle the median and eliminate air pockets. Create seed holes at the appropriate depth, generally 2 to 3 times the seed's diameter. For tiny seeds, simply press them into the surface. Uniformity is key for even germination. Once you're done seeding, put your cell tray in a no-hole tray with about 1/2 inch of water. To fully hydrate the soil mixture, your first watering, you're going to also spritz the top with a hand sprayer. Some people like to wet the soil first before putting it into the cell trays, but we find that to be a messy process, and it's just easier to go ahead and get your cell trays filled and then moisturize. We also have our Widger Dibbler set to help you during your seeding process. It comes with this one, which helps to set the depth for your seed, and then when your plant is grown out, this one helps you to scoop it out of the cell. Next, we have our plant tags. These are especially helpful if you're planting multiple varieties in a single tray, or multiple trays. Also be sure you're paying attention to the germination temperature that each seed needs. You can find that on the back of your seed packet, and if your ambient room temperature is not high enough, go ahead and place them on a heat mat, and you can check out a video about that below. Remember, not all seeds germinate at the same temperature. Some varieties may benefit more from a humid environment, so that's where the humidity domes are going to come into place. You'll notice ours are vented, and they hold in that humidity to help with germination. This is not a mini greenhouse. Humidity domes are designed to be used in an indoor seed starting environment, with the ambient temperature being more consistent. If you take this outside, it's going to get real hot, real fast. It's going to cook your plants, and then when the temperature starts to drop, it drops very quickly. Uneven ambient temperatures are not the kind of temperatures you want to get germination. A couple of other things we want to point out is that as the humidity gets trapped, there is water on the domes. So as you lift up the dome to check out your plants, you're going to drip some water. So make sure you're starting your seeds somewhere where the ground can get wet. And also, humidity domes are not designed to snap onto the trays. A lot of people expect it to be a tight fit and snap. Just imagine you have multiple trays sitting out. You've got 20 trays of seed starts. If you had to go to each one of those and unsnap them, even if you only had 5, think about how annoying that would get. During germination, allow 14 to 16 hours of light once the seeds have emerged. At first sight of germination, remove the domes and begin a fertility program once your first true leaves appear. So that covers some of the most common basic questions that we get during seed starting process. And just remember that, like with anything else, there's a learning curve. Have fun with it, experiment, see what works for you, and keep growing. So like and subscribe, leave your comments below, and we'll see you for the next video.